Greetings, guys. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Fonette, and this is my channel, Evolve with Fonette. For those of you that are new here, I am a professional intuitive empath. It is so good to share energy with you today. Thank you for inviting me in, and we're going to get right into it. If you click on the video, you're here because you are the unicorn of the human design type. You are a reflector, and we are going to talk about what that means. Below in the description box, you can find some resources. If you do not know what your human design type is, there will be some calculators below for you to check out. I'll read them off for you, but then you can go and check them out as well. If you don't catch it as I'm reading it out, we have puregenerators.com/chart-calculator. We have jovinearchive.com and then thegeneticmatrix.com. We have a further study guide as well regarding chakras by Vinta Rakshnar. The I Ching or Book of Changes translated by Richard Willem and Carrie Baines. Star Power, a simple guide to astrology by the Martyr Mystic and by Vanessa Montgomery. And Zohar, the Book of Splendor, basic readings from the Kabbalah by Gershom Shalom. So these will be down there for you to check out, but let's jump right into a reflector, what it means, what it is in the human design type, why you're powerful, what your genius is, what your strategy is, what your not self-theme is, and what some daily checklists are for you to have a more optimized experience while you're here on this Earth planet, on this like Earth school. So, as a reflector, your strategy is to wait for a lunar cycle. Maddening. Yes, the only type out of the five human design types that doesn't have to wait is a manifestor. Your strategy is to wait. Everyone has to wait in different ways. For you, you wait for a lunar cycle, literally a moon phase, literally a month to make a decision. I know. Let's talk. Your signature is surprise and delight. Your not self-theme is disappointment. What makes a reflector is having no defined channels or centers. Defined channel and center will, your channels and centers looks like this. So as a reflector, when you print out your chart and you do it, you will see something that looks like this. And it will say this gate is open, this center is undefined, this one's closed. I'm not going to lie to you, this is a complicated kind of study versus, like, let's say simple astrology. And astrology can be very complex the more you dive deep, of course, but we all have a cursory in the metaphysical community, and I want to just give a blanket statement, but most of us have a cursory knowledge of astrology. We all know our sign, our risings, our moons. This is taking it to like maybe the more calculus level. I'm not going to lie to you, but that's why there's calculators, so it can calculate for you, and then you can just study about your type and understand how to optimize your experience while you're here. Okay, so you have no defined centers. Your possible authorities are lunar, which is the moon. 1%, that's why you're a unicorn, of the population is a reflector. Your aura characteristics are sampling and resilient. Your keywords are truth, non-judgment, openness, acceptance, honesty, environment, and freedom. So statistically, reflectors are unicorns. Also, guys, I'm going to be reading to you today. We're very much in the classroom today. So I'll be reading to you and stopping to interject some ideas and some thoughts that I have about this and how we can better help you to get to being your best reflector self. So statistically, reflectors are unicorns, but that doesn't mean that we should regard this aura type as an alien or an oddity. After all, reflectors are constantly sampling and experiencing the energy of the community as well as the solar system. They, more than anyone, know what it's like to be you, me, or any other person. Their outlook on the world is influenced and shaped by everyone and everything in the cosmos. They are the type of the people. So you are the people's champ. You are Miss Congeniality of the types. You guys like connect and make everyone kind of feel seen and comfortable. You can spot a reflector's chart when all 9 centers are white. So there will be different colors when you get that chart printed again. I am full transparency. I have been studying this for the past year. I am a teacher, so it is my impetus to teach what I learn, but I am by far not an expert. I will also be connecting below some of the experts that are teaching here on these YouTube streets. My favorite, but she happens to be in my sign, I'm a projector, she's a projector as well, is a universal guru. But you will gravitate and find, I have no doubt, ones that are right for you, and so I will try to find some reflectors for you as well to go check out, okay? So Can spot a reflector when all 9 centers are white. Instead of defined centers, reflectors have gate activations sprinkled all over their chart. These gates are like grasping feelers, reaching out for other people's hanging gates, looking to connect and create channels. As the planets transit through the gates, these cosmic gate activations also reconnect with the reflectors' gates, giving them new defined centers daily as well as every time they interact with other people. So, reflectors have the potential to become incredibly wise about the human experience because they encounter so much energy, both healthy and unhealthy, through their centers. From there, reflector aura magnifies and reflects this energy. Because of their openness and wisdom, reflectors act as the barometers for the humanity and can feel when we are working against ourselves or denying our true nature. Reflectors give us the gift of evaluating our collective energy field and creations and providing us valuable feedback. So a daily checklist for you as a reflector is as follows. Allow yourself to be who you are today and feel how you feel in this moment. Check in with your surroundings. How do you feel in this place with these people? Approach situations with neutrality. Allow yourself to express what you are feeling and sensing in a non-judgmental tone. Reflect on any big decisions you're currently making. Take time by yourself to process and to relax, okay? So your strategy, and this is we all have a strategy. So my strategy is to wait for the invitation as a projector. A generator is to wait for a response. The manifester is to inform. Everyone has different strategies. Yours is to wait for the lunar cycle. Let's talk. The reflector strategy moving through the world is to wait for the length of a lunar cycle when making an important life-changing decision. The emphasis here is on life-changing. So not every decision, guys, but one, am I going to move across country? Am I going to move in or out with my partner? Am I going to take this new job? Am I going to divest from a familial dynamic that's toxic? These could be life-changing decisions. Should I start this new regimen for my health? Should I be keto, carnivore, vegan? These are life-changing decisions, okay, guys? So, life-changing. Reflectors do not need to wait 30 odd days to decide what they want for lunch. If they wish to go out with a friend, those kinds of decisions, they can flow towards what feels good in the present. Reflectors thrive by adopting slow, open, patient approaches to life. Ultimately, everything comes together in the right moment. They find their perfect pace by proceeding gently and allowing a lot of space to feel and to process. Reflectors are heavily influenced by planetary cycles and the energy streams from other planetary bodies. In the same way that we calculate our human design chart by inputting our birth date to see a snapshot of the planetary placements at the time we're born, we can also calculate a chart that shows the real-time planetary locations every day to see how the current activated gates and channels are affecting us. The changing locations of the planets are particularly influential for reflectors because reflectors are so open in their centers that they have a new mix of gates and centers activated daily. So you guys are always in a constant state of flux and change. And as a result, reflectors are energetically a different person each day. If you're a reflector, it doesn't mean you don't have a sense of self or identity. You certainly do. Instead, your identity and how you express your energy are simply more fluid than other people's. Reflectors can let go of the idea that they always have to define who they are at each moment. From the day they were born, if you're a reflector, you were designed to experience a variety of identities, rhythms, feelings throughout your life. So depending on who you're around, it will fluctuate. As the planets activate different areas in your chart throughout the month, you gain valuable awareness, clarity, and insight into the decisions at hand. It's most likely you're walking around something examining different sides. It's almost like you're walking around something and examining its different sides. By allowing yourself through different variations of who you are throughout the 24-hour lunar cycle, you get to perceive your decision from many angles. There are so many facets to each decision to sample and consider, but eventually you'll feel clarity. Don't rush. That's the point. Do not rush yourself. There is time that is needed and is really almost mandatory for you as a reflector to make the big decisions in your life. So let's talk about being a conditioned versus an aligned reflector. When we're conditioned, our tribe conditions us. And because our tribe we were not birthed with the human design chart, no one knew what we were, how to deal with us. But now that you are empowering yourself as an adult with this information, or maybe for your child, there's a section of the book here for children, but because my content isn't for children, I've chosen to omit that. But you can do this with your children as well to understand who they are. And I think it would be fantastic to parent that way if you have children. So let's talk about you as a conditioned reflector. So from childhood and with your tribe, you were conditioned maybe out of these things. And let's talk about what it looks like juxtaposed being aligned. When you're conditioned, you feel invisible, like you're on the outside looking in. You live a homogenized life, which is not what you're supposed to do. You feel like the world is unreceptive and cold. You give into society's expectations in order to You give into society's expectations in order to survive. You get caught up in humanity's constant turmoil. You worry about the future, you feel lost, and worry about being forgotten. When you are an aligned reflector, which you are in alignment, you accept your place at the center of your community. You cultivate newness and freshness in every day. You live carefree, joy-filled lives. You appreciate your own uniqueness and celebrate that you are different. You detach from the dysfunction, you detach from the dysfunction. Detaches from dysfunction they mirror in others, knowing that it has nothing to do with them. You live in wonder of the moment. You trust that the people and places and opportunities that you need are always just around the corner, guys. And you know that you will always be included by the people who love you. So let's talk about a quick example of a reflector in action. Molly is a nutritionist who went through her own journey of chronic illness. Now she helps others cultivate healthy relationships with food and eat in a way that works for their bodies. She meets with others one-on-one. She creates nutrition plans and helps them to understand what they need to live a healthy lifestyle. This is why it works for Molly as a reflector. Molly uses her reflector gifts to tap into her client's health and see where they may have misalignments. And I think I would also add that she is greatly aided and benefited by the fact that she is looking at it from multifacets, because in order to tackle such a task specifically, we are diagnosing various things that are going on. So Molly is uniquely equipped as a reflector to look at it from every angle, where a doctor or someone that may be like more rigid would not be looking at it that way. Anyway, listen, she works with different people every day out of her home, which allows her to sample and experience a lot of different auras, which is delicious for a reflector. She has plenty of time alone to stay in touch with her own aura and energy, and her schedule is flexible, leaving her time to do other activities as she loves. The signature is surprise and delight. So this is what you do especially well. This is your genius. As a reflector cycles through the moon phases and experiences a range of versions of who they are monthly, they know they're aligned with their aura when they're sampling the people, places, and experiencing surprise or delight. As a reflector, when you approach life with a neutral outlook and understanding that humanity's dysfunction is not something you have to take on, you will experience moments where you encounter energy that delights you and fills you with wonder. You will have opportunities where the people you see, you deeply ask and share your wisdom with. And you will have times when you have created something so beautiful that experiencing its beauty humbles you, and you'll encounter places and people that feel so good you didn't know such a delight can exist. What a joyous existence. What beautiful unicorns you are, reflectors. When we think of the environment for reflectors, we're not just talking about physical surroundings. The people in a place are just as significant as the place itself. Reflectors belong at the center of our community or group, and finding this place is incredibly important to their health. Reflectors feel best when they have a community that reflects their values and appreciates their wisdom. This community will be one that introduces you to new places, people, and possibilities, new forms of surprise and delight. You serve the world with your truth-telling, and other people help you to expand so that you sample new energies. Reflectors are more open to external energy than the average person, but this does not mean that they are weak. On the contrary, as a reflector, you have the most resilient aura of all the types. fully built for your job as a cosmic barometer. Reflectors taste the energy around them, experience it, and then let it go by taking some time alone to rest for themselves. Their auras are like non-stick protective surfaces that allow them to gain wisdom through their experiences. They wax and wane with the moon and morph with the people in their environment. Then they release all of that energy and return unto themselves. You guys are like the Teflon Dons of the cosmos. After all, reflectors are not empty vessels. They have the same number of defined gates as everyone else and consistent energy within their auras. However, they're more than likely to experience dramatic changes when they're interacting with other people's gate channels and the daily planetary activations we all experience. They have a wide range of ways to express themselves and take actions depending on their environment and cosmic climate. Reflectors become their environment, taking in the energy of the people surrounding them, and it would be wrong, however, though, to think that reflectors are victims of their surroundings. Instead, the reflector power comes from sampling what's around them and judging it, whether it feels right or not. Then they can choose the environment where they thrive, thus choosing whom they want to become. As a reflector, your discernment is everything. You select the people and places you want in your life, and that is so powerful. Your auric advice is a great question to consider daily is, who am I today as a reflector? How do I feel? Then allow yourself to express that energy openly. Your not self theme, which we all have in the human design types, is disappointment. When you approach life with expectations that aren't met, you can sink into disappointment and begin to think that you have to conform instead of glowing as your unique unicorn self. As a reflector, forcing yourself to be who you think you should be is the worst thing you could do. Instead of conforming, trust that even if you don't like the feel or fit of it, and it isn't going your way, there are more options, opportunities, people, and places to explore it. Even if you don't like your reality, there is no need to assign too much to it, too much meaning to it. Instead, get real about how you feel about something and know that you can always move on. Spending prolonged periods in an environment that feels unhealthy will affect reflectors profoundly. Reflectors wilt and can become sick when they are constantly exposed to people and places that don't feel nourishing to them. But as a reflector, you are resilient. So by taking some time alone each day, you can process what you have felt and discern whether it is right for you. There's always other places and people who will appreciate what and who you are. You should allow yourself to sample away and trust how you feel before welcoming anyone into your inner circle. In addition, when reflectors grow up without knowledge of their rare and unique aura, it's easy for them to believe that they must conform to others' expectations. As a reflector, you may feel that you are missing something compared to other people, along with constant pressure from the energy of caretakers and family member and the tribe to go along, to get along. Okay? And so that is a really tough thing. After all, reflectors are their own people. First and foremost, they may be open, but that doesn't mean that they melt into the people around them. Reflectors are most powerful when they act as a sieve, allowing cosmic energy and other people's auras to pass through without judgment. You are the sieve. You're the colander. My West Indians come out. The colander. You are the strainer, girl. The strainer. So allow other people's cosmic energies to pass through without judgment. For reflectors to effectively reflect the energy they experience back to the world, it is helpful to heal childhood programming, wounds, and negative thought patterns through therapy and other healing modalities. After all, if you're a reflector, the world's dysfunction is not personal, and the issues you sense and other people are not always about you. Boundaries are huge for a reflector. When reflectors view the world neutrally, accepting their changing daily state, they have a powerful effect on the people around them. While they often feel the world's wounds acutely, they can allow their resilient auras to do the work for them by magnifying and reflecting what the rest of us are putting out there. That way, everyone else can understand our impact and make changes when necessary. Let's talk about reflectors in action. Jasmine is a writer, a teacher, a mom, and an activist who focuses on environmental issues. Here's why this works for Jasmine as a reflector. No day is the same for Jasmine, which allows her to sample and experience many different places and people. Jasmine advocates for a mission and a cause that means a lot to her. She can feel the imbalance in the world and wants to help correct it, as all reflectors would do. She has time to spend with her family and children who bring a lot of innocence and delight. So that surprise and that beautiful energy for you guys as a reflector of surprise and delight. So she really gets that into her life. So your auric advice here as a reflector is you always have permission to choose environments that feel good to you, even if it's just the restaurant where you're eating lunch. No need to explain it logically. If the vibe is off, give yourself permission to leave. That's a relationship as well as a restaurant. Okay, guys? Huge big deal. Advice we can all live by. But for you specifically, it's advice to thrive by. Make sense? So, your auric advice also is that you are open and pure to the world, and your attitude can be inspiring and relaxing for reflectors. You enjoy spending time around youthful energies, children, or doing youthful activities. So let's say you don't have kids, and it wouldn't be appropriate for you to go sit at the park and watch the kids play. Maybe taking in cartoons or something like that. Adult cartoons specifically, and I don't mean like adult like sexual. What I mean is like Boondocks or something like that, like animated things that would have like adult themes and issues would be really healthy for you as a reflector. So let's talk about reflectors and relationships specifically on this channel. Guys, I'm a professional intuitive empath, so I counsel people all day and primarily about relationships, okay? And this is my area of expertise. It's a Leo sun, ruled by the 5th house, which rules relationships, dating, and all of the rest of that. So this matters a lot to me that we fine-tune our relationship dial here on this channel. So thank you for allowing me to do this, but it's specifically in the book, and I think it's specific to pay attention to. It's specifically for say specific, let's take a shot every time I say specific reflectors, because you have all those open gates, and then at any time during the time you are all the things, you need to understand how you operate in relationships and how to help other people empower you in said relationships. Discernment is the most critical ingredient in a reflector relationship. As a reflector, you naturally mirror, specifically because of those open gates, the people around you. So when those people are not healthy or self-aware, you may feel invisible or sick. Once you begin the deconditioning process as you live your true self, you can be so in tune with both the planetary energy and the collective energy of humankind that you can tell when things are out of alignment. Reflectors can see the real person, not the conditioned, not the distorted energy, field that people have taken on, because reflectors don't have an authority to guide them. So like for a generator, their authority is sacral. Does that make sense? So everybody, like I said, this is a lot more complicated than I mean, I shouldn't say that, but excuse me, as a person who has studied metaphysics for over 30 years really, and who has been immersed in this my whole life, grinding on my life in the best way, I find that this was a little bit to get into, and I am a person who loves a book and loves to read and loves all that stuff, so I was just like, oh, and I was so grateful when a client, shout out to you, client, that recommended this book to me, which would just help me really ingest this. But what I'm going to tell you here, guys, is you see not the distorted energy field, and your authority, though, that's what I was going to say, is your authority. You don't have an authority center like some of the other types do, okay? And that's why, I was starting to explain it, and I thought, oh God, that could get convoluted. What I'm going to tell you is go do your calculator. You'll see it. It may not make a lot of sense. I'm going to continue to study. If you have questions, put them below. And I'm usually really diligent to come by and come back and answer the questions, which means that I have to learn. So if I have to learn to teach you, y'all, I'm going to do it. I'll do it for my collective. I love you guys. So let's see here. Because reflectors don't have an authority to guide them from moment to moment, the people around you help you find direction. However, you do not have to be a victim of other people's choices or energies. You are designed to constantly discern whether something is right for you. If it's not right, you can leave. Vote with your feet. The right communities will feel supportive and respective of your freedom. As a reflector, you always risk identifying too much or feeling too dependent on others for direction in life. So codependency could be an issue. And it's one as a empath that we all kind of deal with. So just heads up, 7 up. If you're on this channel, you have dealt with themes of people pleasing and codependency. So you can risk identifying too much or feeling dependent on others' direction in life. As you're sampling aura, love's variety and experiencing new people and places is the key for reflectors. So make sure you don't overly attach to anyone or rely solely on that energy, as you can shut off from new possibilities. Reflectors are natural group facilitators because they can pick up what is and isn't working and help people see where they may want to make changes as they move forward. You may find that you are sensitive to injustices or how humans have strayed from their true nature. This is a superpower that you can lean into. If you feel you have a message to share with the world about where we have strayed, get it out of there. Your perspective is helpful to the rest of the types who are initiating and building and guiding humanity's creations. By giving yourself time to make decisions, you won't get caught up in the energy of the other people in your life who do have consistent authority that they can tap into from moment to moment. For example, if you have a generator friend, you could accidentally start tapping into their sacral authority, which I previously mentioned, on all your decisions. One of the best things you can do in a relationship is to take space physically and emotionally from the people you care about. This allows you to stay connected from yourself and avoid codependency. If you're another type who has a reflector in your life, take time to know the person in front of you. After all, one has to spend a whole month with a reflector to fully even know them. If you get caught up in yourself and forget to truly see your reflector friend, family member, or partner, their light, which glows more steadily than 99% of the people on this planet, may dim, and their amazing genius gifts may go unnoticed. So we're going to talk about how we can support reflectors and in a relationship, if you are in a relationship with a reflector, or if you are a reflector, how you need to be supported. But I'm going to backtrack here to the take space from other people. As a projector, one of the suggested things, and I'm the only type that it's suggested for we as a projectors are the only types it's suggested for, is to not sleep in the bed with your lover or partner all the time. And I have definitely practiced this. And it's something that I naturally gravitated to and then found so much great peace because I do not have a defined sacral, which means that I easily can absorb someone else's energy. So who doesn't love love? Who doesn't love your lover, your partner, your spouse, or whatever? I've had lovers. I have a partner. I have sacral, or what do you call it, a soulmate, people that I date, all that stuff. And so I have slept in beds with people, but I've also not slept in beds with people because I need space away. And it's a radical idea, one that's being very normalized now on the TikTok, I'm 75, on the TikToks, on social media. We see a lot of people divesting from the traditional idea of co-sleeping. And I wonder about their human design when I see that happening. And even if they are not a projector, it is a thing. Maybe they're a reflector, the 1% unicorn. But either way, space away from people as a reflector and a projector is highly necessary. Physical space away from people is necessary in order for you to be your most divine self. That doesn't mean we don't make love. That doesn't mean we don't get into bed together. That doesn't mean we don't cuddle. That doesn't mean all of that stuff. But what it means is that you will like your life better and your energy resources will feel more filled and replenished when you take that space. Highly recommended for reflectors too. Maybe not co-sleeping specifically, but also just research that whole co-sleeping thing. It's very Lucy and Desi, right? When we see it, we're like, what's happening? And we usually see it happen in older partners when they've been together for many years. They're like, oh, he snores or she snores or she stays up all night, she knits and whatever. And the co-sleeping no longer becomes like the paramount thing, and then they rejoin together when it's time. One of my favorite videos that I saw recently was of an older couple, and they had one of those like adjustable beds, and the husband goes in every morning with a coffee for his wife. I'm going to see if I can find this short for you, and I'll connect it below. But the husband goes in every morning, like the granddaughter was recording, like the grandparents like connecting every morning with their coffee because they don't co-sleep anymore. So it's a brave new world, and maybe those old folks knew something, and maybe these young folks now, because I'm seeing 20-something-year-olds doing this as well. I think this is so powerful. We are not our conditioning anymore, guys. We get to make our own rules, but do what works specifically best for your energy center. And as a reflector, time apart physically, in space, in nature by yourself, in a bed by yourself for a little while is really good for you. Okay, here's how you can support a reflector, or you can teach people how to treat you as a reflector and support you. Not rushing or pressuring them into decisions. Let them go at their own pace. Allowing them to roam freely amongst different places or people. Being possessive or territorial can hold them back from experiencing delight and surprise. Letting them be who they are that day and truthfully express how they feel without being responsible for solving it for them. Taking responsibility for your own emotions and wounds. Sharing your joy, happiness, and open delights in their happy moments as well. Inviting them along to experience new people, places, and adventures. As a reflector, your gift to the world are as follows. permission to be who you are unapologetically. That's the gift you give to the world. Gentle redirection and group guidance. That's a gift. Deep wisdom about the human experience. That's a gift. Connection to the cosmos, because you are all of the things in the cosmos. That's a gift. And an open, lively, curious approach to life. This is a weekly check-in exercise that I would advise for reflectors, as stated by the authors here. How did I feel today? Did I feel free to express this honestly to the people around me? 2, which friendships and connections feel the healthiest and most nourishing to me right now? Can I spend more time with those people? And that will fluctuate if you're a reflector. That is not going to be static. Everything is changing according to the daily cosmic cycles and the monthly lunar cycles, okay? Well, and the daily lunar cycles as well, because we have an ebb and flow of the tide every day. Did anything feel disappointing this week? If so, what and where? How am I feeling about where I live, work, and spend my time, or whom I live, work, and spend my time with? When did I feel the most delighted? I love that that's your signature, is surprise and delight. That's like so juicy. How do I feel when I'm around people I'm closest to? Do any of my relationships feel possessive, codependent, stifling? Am I people pleasing? How can I bring more freedom into my life? Guys, I love the reflectors probably the most because they're unicorns. I can't wait to meet one in person. I definitely want a reflector friend because what an incredible gift. You guys are a gift. Your genius is innocence and childlike delight, and I love that for you. And I love that you are going to now understand how to empower yourself with the right boundaries and maybe take some time away from people that might be a little toxic and draining, and re-empower yourself and understand that you offer so much to the world. So let's recap. Your strategy is to, the strategy is to, here we are with my brain. I will tell you what your not self theme is: disappointment. I remember that. Your not self theme is disappointment. Your strategy, beep, 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 beep. I'm loving it. Your strategy is wait for the lunar cycle. For some reason, it would stick in my brain because it is kind of a interesting thing, isn't it? You're going to wait a full month for major life decisions. Not for, should I have a sandwich or should I have sushi? Today for me it's sushi. But should I have a sandwich or should I have sushi for lunch? So that breakfast or whatever time it is, I don't know. For me, it's like, what time is it now? It's like it's 2, 3 in the afternoon. Breakfast for me. I have weird eating patterns, guys. The other thing for you too, your signature is surprise and delight. Your not self theme is disappointment. Okay, so those are the reflections of who you are, reflector. Go out and reflect all of the magic back to us and teach us about ourselves and the collective. It was so good sharing energy with you. Check out the resources below. As mentioned, I'll see. Oh, let me make a note, or I will forget to write down for reflectors the video of the co-sleeping. I'm going to put that in the projectors as well. The non-co-sleepers. Okay. Anyway, guys, so good sharing energy with you. Come back and join me next time, and we will continue to evolve together.